When you learn how to activate the forbidden ancestral frequency, reality will no longer resist you. Within 3 to 7 days, you will notice your intentions beginning to materialize without the constant struggle. There is a specific vibrational code that automatically silences the circuits of the ego and restores your position as a conscious creator, not as a character reacting to circumstances. Your current life obeys matter because you lost access to the state where matter obeys you. Every time you react instead of create, every time you force instead of flow, you reinforce the inverted hierarchy that keeps you trapped in repetitive patterns. Feel the difference in your body right now when you think about something you desire versus when you think about something you fear. The knowledge I am about to reveal works through a precise mechanism that dissolves the artificial separation between intention and realization. You will learn how to access the frequency that your ancestors mastered, which allowed them to command life from within, turning resistance into natural collaboration with existence. This mechanism works through what Hermetic schools preserved as the forbidden frequency, a precise neurophysiological state that instantly deactivates the mechanisms of the ego and restores your authority as a conscious creator. By the end of this process, you will master the art of making synchronicities. Open doors and the absence of unnecessary friction become your normal way of operating, not occasional exceptions. Few human beings have learned to operate consciousness as the primary cause, because this knowledge was deliberately withheld. Alchemical traditions understood that there is a specific configuration of the nervous system that allows the human body to function as a transmitter of direct commands to the field of experience. When you embody this configuration, the gap between intention and manifestation dissolves naturally. There is no longer a painful space between what you want and what actually shows up in your life. The secret lies in a fundamental reversal. Instead of trying to change your circumstances in order to feel good, you learn to inhabit the state that naturally attracts aligned circumstances. This is not visualization or positive thinking. It is a somatic reprogramming that shifts the base frequency of your bioelectrical field, causing physical reality to reorganize in direct correspondence. In the hidden chambers of the temples of Thoth, the initiates understood a truth that would shape all future alchemy. The human body is not a passive receiver of reality, but an active transmitter of vibrational commands that reorganize the surrounding matter. Each cell operates as a biological oscillator, emitting specific frequencies that propagate through the quantum field and return as corresponding physical experiences. The Hermetic axiom, "as within, so without," describes this transmission mechanism, where the internal state determines the external configuration. Polyvagal theory reveals that the vagus nerve functions as a two-way antenna, picking up information from the environment while simultaneously transmitting signals that change your body's chemistry and personal electromagnetic field. When you inhabit states of safety and expansion, your body produces a spectrum of frequencies that resonate with aligned possibilities. States of contraction and fear generate frequencies that magnetize experiences of resistance and limitation. Each heartbeat generates measurable electromagnetic waves that extend several meters beyond the physical body. These waves carry the energetic signature of your internal state, working as continuous signals that inform the environment about what kind of reality should manifest. Neuroscience shows that this transmission is not symbolic, it is literal, measurable, and directly determines how the world responds to your presence. The first sign that you are operating from reactivity is an instant contraction in the solar plexus, a subtle but noticeable tension that arises whenever something external controls your internal state. When you access the forbidden frequency, that same area remains open and receptive, no matter the circumstances. The difference is measurable. Reactivity produces erratic heart rhythms and shallow breathing in the chest, while conscious creation generates heart coherence and breathing that naturally drops into the abdomen. Notice right now where your breath is settling. This reveals which mode you are inhabiting at this very moment. The reversal of the hierarchy begins with a specific protocol that restores a sense of primal safety to the nervous system. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your abdomen, and breathe in a way that only the lower hand moves. This activates the vagus nerve and sends a signal to the reptilian brain that no threats are present. Maintain this breathing for 7 full cycles, allowing each exhale to be slightly longer than the inhale. This is not relaxation, it is neurophysiological reprogramming that automatically dissolves the survival circuits, keeping you in reactive mode. During this protocol, your attention must remain anchored in the movement of the abdomen, not in the thoughts or worries that will try to hijack your awareness. Each time you bring your attention back to the breath, you strengthen the neural circuits of conscious presence and weaken the automatic patterns of reactivity. This is not meditation, it is the active installation of a new operational setting, where you choose your state regardless of external circumstances. The true power of this process reveals itself when you realize you can access this setting at any time, even in the middle of chaos. One conscious breath into the abdomen is enough to restore your position as a conscious creator. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the architect of your own experience, operating from a state that naturally attracts realities aligned with your true nature. Once abdominal breathing is stabilized, the second protocol involves somatic anchoring through conscious touch on the body's energy portals. Place the palm of your dominant hand over the sternum, right in the center of your chest. Applying gentle but steady pressure, this activates the heart center and creates a physical reference point for the new frequency. Hold this position for 3 deep breaths, allowing the warmth of your palm to radiate inward through your chest. This touch is not symbolic. It is direct stimulation of pressure receptors that communicate safety to the central nervous system. Now move your hand to the base of the skull, where the occipital bone meets the top of the cervical spine, applying an upward micropressure that releases tension accumulated at the junction between the brain and spinal cord. This specific point is often where patterns of hypervigilance settle, keeping you in a reactive state. As you maintain this pressure, notice any change in the quality of your breath or in the sense of space around your eyes. These are signs that your alert circuits are beginning to relax. The third portal is located at the junction between the abdomen and the diaphragm, about 4 fingers below the sternum. Gently press this point while breathing, allowing each exhale to soften the area. This is where the tension of trying to make things happen tends to accumulate the compulsion to force outcomes instead of allowing them to unfold naturally. When this portal opens, you feel an organic expansion that dissolves urgency and restores creative patience. The difference between aligned intuition and reactive impulse becomes crystal clear through these portals. Genuine intuition produces a soft expansion in all 3 points at the same time: open chest, relaxed base of the skull, and receptive abdomen. Reactive impulse creates immediate contraction, closed chest, tension at the occipital area, and a tight abdomen. This is your somatic compass for navigating between conscious creation and automatic reactivity. True mastery of the ancestral frequency begins when you learn how to maintain it in the middle of informational chaos and social pressures that constantly try to pull you back into reactive mode. The first shield is conscious selectivity. Every piece of information that enters your field of awareness must pass through the somatic filter of the three portals. Before you absorb any content, news, conversations, or social media, check in with the portals of the chest, the occipital base, and the abdomen. If they contract, the information is toxic to your creative state. If they expand or remain neutral, it can be integrated without compromising your frequency. The shield against scarcity works through a simple but powerful protocol. Whenever you detect thoughts like there is not enough or I need to hurry, pause and take 3 deep abdominal breaths while silently repeating, there is enough time and enough resources for what is truly mine. This is not self-persuasion, it is neural reprogramming that dissolves circuits of artificial urgency and restores trust in the natural timing of manifestation. Scarcity is always a sign that you have stepped out of the ancestral frequency and returned to survival mode. The signs of alignment are measurable and impossible to ignore once you know what to look for. First, synchronicities increase dramatically. Unexpected conversations, chance encounters, and information arriving exactly when you need it. Second, effort decreases while results increase. You feel less resistance in daily tasks and more natural flow. Third, your energy field has a positive effect on the people around you. They feel calmer in your presence without you doing anything in particular. When these signs show up consistently, you know that the new neural configuration has become your default operating system. There is no longer a need to work to maintain the state. It sustains itself automatically, because your brain circuits have been literally reconfigured. You are no longer someone who occasionally accesses personal power, but someone who lives in personal power as a natural condition, attracting realities that match this elevated frequency. At 57 years old, Margaret was running her financial consulting business as if she were constantly putting out fires. With her solar plexus tense from the moment she woke up until she finally managed to fall asleep. Every client felt like a battle to be won. Every proposal was a war against rejection, and every result depended entirely on her ability to force things into place. When a mentor told her about the forbidden frequency, a specific state that disarms the ego and allows reality to naturally reorganize, her initial reaction was immediate resistance. Conscious breathing and somatic touch seemed ridiculously simple for problems that felt so complex. The first time she accessed this frequency through the sequence of the 3 portals, palm on the sternum, pressure at the occipital base, and touch at the diaphragm junction, Margaret experienced something she had completely forgotten, an open chest without any external reason. During 7 cycles of abdominal breathing, for the first time in years, she stopped thinking about strategies. In that unfamiliar state, instead of urgently calling prospects, she waited. Instead of rewriting proposals out of anxiety, she sent versions that had flowed spontaneously from this new inner setting. Within 6 weeks, Margaret had tripled her revenue while working only 1/3 of the hours she used to. Meetings that once required intense persuasion now flowed naturally into agreements. Whenever thoughts of scarcity appeared, she used the shielding protocol, 3 deep breaths, while repeating, "There are enough resources for what is truly mine," dissolving the urge to force outcomes. Margaret discovered that the ancestral frequency was not a theory, but an operational mechanism that made reality respond as if it were recognizing a legitimate command. What shifted in Margaret's experience now needs to be sealed into your own body in order to become a permanent default. The first physical marker of integration is a breath that naturally drops into the abdomen without conscious effort. When this begins to happen spontaneously, you know the new state is settling in. Feel it right now. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your abdomen, and notice which one moves first when you breathe normally. If the lower hand moves first or together with the upper one, anchoring is already happening. The signal gesture to return to this setting at any moment is simple. Lightly touch the center of your chest with 3 fingers while taking 2 deep breaths that drop into your abdomen. This 30-second touch instantly reactivates the neural circuits of conscious presence and automatically disarms reactive patterns. Practice it now, 3 fingers on the sternum, 2 abdominal breaths, and feel the natural expansion that begins to settle in. Your return point, whenever you notice you have shifted back into reactive mode, is this sequence. I choose my state, followed by 1 breath that drops into the abdomen, ending with an upright posture and relaxed shoulders. This combination of phrase, breath, and posture acts as a direct command to your nervous system, immediately restoring your position as a conscious creator. Memorize this sequence. It will be your anchor for sustaining the new frequency in any situation. Something fundamental has changed in the way your nervous system functions while you absorbed this information. Every breath that moves down into your abdomen, every portal that opens in your chest, every moment of conscious choice over your internal state is an act of sovereignty over a reality that has always responded to your frequency, but that you were trained to ignore. The forbidden frequency is not a mystical secret. It is an operational mechanism that dissolves the illusion of separation between intention and manifestation. When you operate from this frequency, the difference between the inner world and the outer world simply disappears. The philosopher Alan Watts once said, "You are something that the whole universe is doing, in the same way that a wave is something that the whole ocean is doing." This is not poetry. It is an accurate description of how conscious creation works when you stop fighting the current and learn to be the current itself. You are not separate from reality, trying to influence it from the outside. You are reality, knowing and reorganizing itself through the human form you chose to inhabit. The responsibility that now rests on your shoulders is immense and liberating. You have discovered that it is impossible to be a victim when you realize you are simultaneously the observer, the observed, and the process of observation. Each time you choose to operate from the ancestral frequency, you are not just transforming your personal life, you are demonstrating to the collective field that there is another way of being human. A way where consciousness comes before matter, where the inner state determines the outer experience, where you finally stop asking for permission to be who you have always been. Reality was never your problem. It has always been your response. If this content resonated with you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This helps us expand this field of knowledge to even more people who are ready to operate from true creative authority. I want to hear how you are experiencing this new inner setting. Write in the comments, "I activate my ancestral frequency as a creative state." This affirmation seals your intention to consciously inhabit the code that makes reality reorganize. Share this video with someone you feel is ready to discover that they can choose their state regardless of external circumstances. And do not stop here. Click on the screen and dive into another transformational video from the channel. Every new insight brings you closer to full mastery of the mechanisms that govern conscious manifestation. Remember, the forbidden frequency was hidden not because it was dangerous for you, but because it was dangerous for a system that depends on your reactivity to survive. But when you remember who you truly are, reality stops resisting and begins to obey you as your true creation.